apa kabar? Baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Senang sekali bisa berada di kota pelajar yang indah ini bersama Bapak Ibu para pendidik dan dosen dan mahasiswa. The rest of the presentation will be in English. I don't speak Bahasa. I just pick up a few words just to impress the audience. That's it. Very glad to meet you. I'd like to begin by thanking Professor Widodo, who is not right here, and Dr. Basigil for kindly inviting me to come and present at this conference. Very glad to be here. I'd also like to acknowledge a lot of students from my classes. I've been here for about a week as a visiting scholar, and I've been teaching the linguistics and the PBI two groups doing masters and master's. Thank you very much for being here. Also, we'd like to thank Dr. Ashadi, who and we've been co-teaching these two courses together. So thank you very much, Dr. Ashadi, and of course all the volunteers and committee members. Yeah, I'm really very glad to be here. This is my first visit at UNY and really enjoying it. So I have 30 minutes. I'll probably have to speak a bit fast, but I hope it won't be too fast for you to get what I'm saying. The theme of the conference is about the complexities and the challenges that we have in this era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. So if you look at the title, Challenges and Opportunities, how about seeing the challenges themselves as opportunities? So maybe the challenges are opportunities. My students would know that when we have high challenge, when things are difficult, that's when we learn. So maybe the challenges themselves are opportunities. But the actual topic of my presentation would be going beyond methods, and I'm talking about foreign language teaching methods, such as communicative language teaching, CLT, such as task-based language teaching, TPLT. Why? Because there are problems with methods, because methods are sometimes popularized because of political and commercial reasons. In the 80s and the 90s, CLT, communicative language teaching, was popularized, imported by English-speaking countries to non-English-speaking countries such as Indonesia, and it made a lot of money. It was a commercial enterprise. And it took us 20 years to realize that all these teaching methods and approaches were not contextually appropriate for countries, EFL countries like Indonesia. It wasn't appropriate. It took us 20 years to realize that. So now we are moving beyond methods. That's the title of my presentation. Moving beyond methods. In the background of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, where there is a lot of emphasis on use of technology, digital literacy and all of that, I will introduce you to something that we can do in the classroom as an English language teacher, which is really not a method, which is really not an approach, but a way of thinking. And the best thing about that is we don't need a lot of technology for that. We don't need our students to be digitally literate. We don't need a lot of money to spend in the classroom. We can do it in our classes without much technology and without our students being prepared in a certain way. So we are looking beyond methods. We are looking at a way of thinking that will make a big difference to the learning outcomes of our students in the classroom. So I'll start with, this is the background. Pasang di siara pasang di kita benda. All the learnings in the textbooks would come from the religious dictates in the Quran. They try to translate that and put it in their textbooks. Lembar kerja siswa. They try to do it there. Second one, Makassaris. I was in Makassar 3 months ago. I have some students there from Monash. They say, sekali layar terkembang, pantang hidup suruh dibantai. Have you heard of that? Yes. If you haven't heard about that, and if you're Indonesian, that's all right, because there are too many things to remember. 300 ethnicities after all. So you don't need to blame yourself. What it means is when you go outside, never come back empty-handed. Please bring back something for your community. That's another gem, that's another cultural treasure. Toraja? Anyone from Toraja? How many of you have been to Toraja? Oh, come on, I've been there twice. It's your country, I've been there twice. So this is what the Torajans say. They say, Misa kada dipodu, pantan kada dipomate. Which is sort of saying, united we stand, divided we fall. You don't have to say, united we stand, divided we fall. We've always known it here in Indonesia, that Torajans always say that. So what point am I trying to make here? We can rely on the principles and the dictates and the philosophies in local wisdom to inform our teaching. We don't have to rely on an imported teaching methodology like CLT and try to align our practices with that. We should practice our understanding of what good teaching and learning is by the local wisdom that we have grown up in Indonesia. I'm saying we because I feel like I'm Indonesian at the moment. I'm not saying you, I'm saying we. Right. So it is a shock. But on the other hand, the weak student would know that I'm a small fish and everyone else is big fish. And I've been grouped here because I'm weak. I've been paired with someone stronger than me. They will have a low academic self-concept. They will do poorly. So that's called the big fish, small, little pond effect. So this is my class at Monash University. Okay. There's something very interesting here. I just don't have time, so I have to run. Okay. So if you look at the picture, this is a spontaneous picture. I didn't ask how to pose or whatever. We usually take a picture in the last class. This is it. Now, if you look at this group here, these are all my Indonesian students. Okay, you can tell them by their dress. Okay, these are all my Chinese students. These are all my Vietnamese students. Okay, now it's very difficult to separate them. And then, I didn't tell them to stand like that. And this is Riza, my only poor Iranian student. Very nice. She got an HD. She just doesn't know where to stand. So what's happening here? I didn't tell them to stand like that. They just clustered with each other. It's very difficult to separate them. Why? Not in the photo, when they're sitting in the class. Why is it difficult to separate them? Because they speak in their own language. When I'm speaking English. But speaking in their own language is not a bad thing. Research shows that using your own language, code switching in the classroom is actually good. It's not bad, so that's not the problem. The problem is, but I'll show you, this is how I sit there. 2 minutes, Dr. Rashadi, if that's okay. I split them up into groups so that they don't sit with those who speak the same language. The same country or culture. Not to discourage them from using first language. Using first language is fine. It's a good thing. We will talk about that another day. I split them up because if they sit with people that they already know, people that they are linguistically and culturally familiar with, the high challenge becomes low challenge. And so the zone of proximal development is compromised. So if you pair them with others whom they don't know, the challenge goes up, and then you have high support. Scaffolding, they learn better. Okay? Otherwise, they will always cluster like this. There's nothing wrong. It's a very good class. I enjoy teaching them. But as a teacher, I need to split them up. Now, I can't split them up saying, hey guys, you can't sit together because you're all from Indonesia. I don't want to see more than 2 Indonesians in the same group. I can't say that. It's very disrespectful. I can't say that. So there are ways in which you can split up. And one of it is the ebb and flow experiences by Tomlinson. This is not Brian Tomlinson, by the way. This is Carol Tomlinson. And I don't have time to explain, so we can talk about it when we have lunch.